We just left Nazareth. So we're on our way to Magdala, the home of Mary Magdalene. In 2009, they were astonished to discover a synagogue from the 1st century CE. Inside the synagogue, archaeologists found the Magdala stone that is unique because it was carved when the temple in Jerusalem was still standing.
Which dates this synagogue to the time of Christ. 12 were with him, as well as some women who had been cured of evil spirits and infirmities. Mary, called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had gone out. And here you can see the mosaics that were part of the synagogue. You can almost picture yourself just kind of sitting there and just Jesus walking in, which is definitely what he did at one point right around here. This is an ancient church that early Christians built because this site they knew was the location of this miracle. It's so interesting just how early on Christianity took hold of the world.
Alright, so we're up on the hillside, and up here are the crypts or the tombs where the demoniac man was. And a man who had demons met him. There on the hillside, a large herd of swine was feeding, and the demons begged Jesus to let them enter these. So he gave them permission. Then the demons came out of the man and entered the swine.
Well, that was pretty fun. All right, where are we going next?
We'll go to the Capernaum synagogue. It says in Murphy O'Connor's book, Jesus made his home among the houses of Capernaum, and by tradition the door was open to all guests.
So we just made it to Capernaum in Peter's house, and the church seems to be closed right now. Oh, I see. Mass in progress. Do not disturb. Thank you. So maybe they'll be done soon.
So yeah, like it appears that this is not like something that were actually here when Jesus was here.
4th century AD white synagogue built upon the remains of the synagogue of Jesus.
So they say this black mark here. On another Sabbath, he entered the synagogue and taught, and there was a man there whose right hand was withered. After looking around at all of them, he said to him, "Stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was restored.
After leaving the synagogue, he entered Simon's house. Now Simon's mother-in-law was suffering from a high fever. Then he stood over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her. As the sun was setting, all those who had any who were sick with various kinds of diseases brought them to him, and he laid his hands on each of them and cured them.
We are literally the last ones out of there. That was really cool. Now we're heading to the kibbutz at Gynosaur where our Airbnb is. And early in the morning he came walking towards them on the lake. Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he noticed a strong wind, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Got one more day here, and then to Jerusalem. But we're going to try to enjoy tomorrow.
Good morning from the Boat Museum in Galilee.
Go in and check out an ancient boat they found preserved from like 2,000 years ago, so the time of Jesus. I'm just going to check it out.
They're saying that this is what the boat would have looked like. Wow. That's so cool. As he walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw 2 brothers casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people."
So we're going to try to see the Church of the Primacy of St. Peter, which is where the resurrected Christ appeared to Peter and the other apostles. Yeah, and then he done breakfast with the fish. And there's in this church, there's a stone. It's like the table where he prepared the food and where they ate. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach. But the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. He said to them, "Cast the net to the right side of the boat." So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on some clothes, for he was naked, and jumped into the lake, for they were not far from the land. So now we're on our way to the church of the Loaves and the Fishes, where Jesus supposedly fed the multitudes.
He did that twice, right?
Yeah.
So this is which time, the first or the second?
So this was the first feeding of the multitude. I guess they said the second one was a cross.
Okay, did you want to read a scripture?
We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said, "Bring them here to me." He looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves. And all ate and were filled, and they took up what was left of the broken pieces, 12 baskets full. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children.
And this block of limestone, I guess, Christians of the 5th century, they thought this is where Christ ate. Look at how cute it is.
Matthew tells us that Jesus, apparently desiring solitude, dismissed the crowds and went up to the mountain by himself to pray. So next we'll go up there.
Okay.
Try to find it.
Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had sent them away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone.
Okay, somewhere between here and Capernaum is the Bay of Parables, and I guess you can tell where it is because there are some purple painted rocks that show where it's at. Maybe down here.
Coming from down there, but we don't know how to get there. Right there.
Hey, look, the rocks are painted purple though.
Ah.
So it's in James Martin's book,
Oh.
which means this must be it. So yeah, I mean the water level used to be up higher, so it's probably like here.
Oh.
And then so people could sit up here, and it's like a big amphitheater.
Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat there, while the whole crowd stood on the beach. And he told them many things in parables.
Alright, we're at the Mount of the Beatitudes, the church they built where Jesus gave the Beatitudes, so we're gonna go check it out.
All right.
There's no archaeological evidence here, but he said it's a beautiful place. Right. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Okay, well that was everything we wanted to see in Galilee.
Tomorrow we leave early in the morning.
Tomorrow's Jerusalem. And with that, we'll see you all later. Bye.